Hey, Instagram, it's Frank DiLella here reporting from my apartment on the Upper West Side in isolation. We are having another on-stage Wednesday matinee. Today, I'm so excited to welcome my buddy Ramin Karimloo, who will be joining us from the UK, where he is quarantined with his family. Hey, Greg. Thanks for waving. Let's see where Ramin is. I know he's online. Let's see. Should be joining soon. We were just texting. And remember, if you have questions for Ramin, you can just write them in the comments section or add the questions below. Where's it? Where you have the question mark? Hold on. Hey Jack. Hey Alex. Some folks are joining. Hold on. Boston. What's up, Boston? We have Richard J. Alexander joining us. Jack Bergamino. Howdy from Manhattan. Great. I love you, Richard J. I love you. Hold on. Let's see. Here he is. Hey, Ramin, I see you. Adding you right now. Waiting for Ramin. He's coming in. See Pat Kiernan's here. Hey, Pat. Ramin, what's up, my friend?
Hey Frank, how you doing?
It's good to see you. How are you? Where are you? I know you're in the UK.
Yeah, I'm just outside of London at home in an area called Essex. Well, it's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. How are you holding up? What's going on during this isolation period with the Karimloo family?
Well, we're just trying to figure it out every day. I feel like we've got a bit of a routine going now. We're counting our blessings in one way that, we live in a country sort of area, so we have space, we have a nice yard, we have space. I'm very fortunate to be in the position we are to at least handle this situation with my family like that, so I can be here with them, safe, healthy, comfortable, and just wait it out, do what we can to not be part of the problem, stay home, and just find ways to stay active, creatively active, and just, I don't want to call this a blessing. I hate thinking of it that way because so many people are struggling and a lot of people are sick. Obviously, so many people are dying. So I'm just thinking of it. I'm just glad to be with my kids right now.
Yeah. Yeah. How I know you're a big guy in terms of your working out regimen and your working out schedule. When you're here on Broadway, I always see you at the gym. What have you been doing to stay in shape?
Well, again, I was pretty lucky that I converted most of my garage into a fully kitted gym, like squat racks, ski ergs, assault bikes, dumbbells. So it's like a mini CrossFit gym in there. Because when I started shooting on this TV show here in England, my workouts are at 4 in the morning and nothing's open then. So
Yeah.
I work out in the garage and do my, and I get to set for 7 a.m. So I'm doing okay. Although motivating myself is another thing.
What about
Having all
is
the time in the
say that again? You just broke up. I think our connection's a little.
all, having all the time in the world, you think, okay, well, I'll do all this. Next thing you know, 3 hours of Netflix later, I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow.
What are you binging? What are you watching? What's been some of your favorite shows?
We season 3 of Ozark now, and we did the Tiger King.
What did you think?
I gave it. That is some crazy stuff. Crazy. I don't understand who I was rooting for. I wasn't rooting for anyone. I felt bad for all the animals. Even Carol Baskin. Carol Baskin, I don't understand. Her sanctuary was no better than his. I was like, they should all shut down. All these animals need to be free.
Right.
I've been in quarantine for what, 3-4 weeks now? Those guys live like that?
Yeah.
Forget that.
Crazy.
Set them free.
So wait, so when the shutdown happened, you were working on, as you mentioned, your TV show Holby City, if I'm not mistaken, and also you're working on a new project called Cleveland. Is that a TV show or a movie?
Oh no, that was a movie, but we're not working on that. That was shelved. It's in the pre-production stage still.
Got it. So then what happened?
Yeah.
What happened with Holby City? Are you guys done with production or?
Yeah, I remember we shot the last scene, and it was so odd because we knew it was imminent, and we were doing this one final scene, and then they went, "Okay, folks, everyone go home. See you when we see you."
Wow.
And it's like this eerie feeling in this, makeshift hospital, which is fully, it's got, you think it's a hospital, and it's completely, that was it. So you're just like, okay, see you later. And that's it. So who knows?
Wow.
Who knows how this thing is going to pan out? I don't expect anything.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate anything. Just every day it's like, we'll see how it goes.
What's the vibe with, the West End? Have you talked to a lot of your West End friends? Because here on Broadway, I mean, we're being told June 7th is the day that we're going to get to, and Broadway could possibly come back right after that. But according to my sources and people who I've talked to in the community, they think that's impossible. I'm hearing realistically July, August, September. What are you hearing in London?
Yeah, Frank, listen, I think we're both somewhat in the same boat with, I don't think both our governments handled this too well by acting. It's hard to say, like how can you plan for something like this? But I feel like we could have pulled the trigger earlier. I can't see it happening earlier. I'd love it to happen, but then how confident are the audiences to go sit in a theater so soon? It's one stage to open the theaters and get everyone back, and I hope to God that happens sooner rather than later. But then you got to build the trust. You got to make sure everyone's okay to go. People are going to be a little bit, it's a terrible term, but gun shy. You know what I mean? Like I know I'd be.
Yeah.
As a father, I was planning to take my kids to see Hamilton. Jaden's producing hip hop all the time. I thought this would be great for them to see it. It's like when will it be all right to go? As a dad, I'm thinking those sort of things. But I don't know, man. I'm hearing September.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel fortunate again to be in the television world where I think that could probably, if we even do go back to that show, that can be managed easier because it's such low numbers. But I feel bad. I feel bad for everyone in theater right now because I feel they're not getting as much help as they can or deserve. But everyone needs help,
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Everyone,
we did that big special over the weekend, which you and your wife were a part of, and I kept saying, as I was posting about it, so many communities during this time need help. And, the theater community, of course, makes up a large part of New York City. It brings in a lot of money to New York City. And these folks are in need. They're in need in the Actors Fund, which we were raising awareness for over the weekend. That was a big part of that special. I know you've been doing a lot of awareness work in terms of your posts and whatnot. You did that beautiful rendition of Bring Him Home as a Les Mis alum with some of your Les Mis buddies. What was that like for you reuniting with those guys?
Well, listen, I can't take credit for that. Scott put that all together, and his boys, the Barricade Boys, that was their baby and project and idea. And it was just great to be part of it. I didn't expect that to blow up so much. And listen, I was at that point during the lockdown too. I wasn't really feeling like I wanted to sing. I didn't really want to post like I have been again recently, because when this all happened, I just went into father mode. There's no artistic bone in me wanted to come out. I just wanted to make sure the kids were okay, Mandy, and make sure we were going to be, how do we navigate through this? Because it was new to everyone,
Yeah.
And the news getting was changing every day. I was like, what's going on? Like, this is crazy. So that was that in the Till I Hear You Sing video. But when Scott said do this, I was like, you know, we should do this. And he said it was for the NHS. So right away I was like, okay, well, I want to be part of that. But I was very hesitant because I never know, not that I'm not a big star to sway things, but you never wanted to make it about me. You want it to be about we.
Yeah.
So how do you post that it's not trying to promote yourself and I thought the way they handled that was beautifully done, and I think that's why it's so popular. It landed so well, and to get the like I'm still getting DMs and just messages on social media from NHS workers that it meant something to them. So I was like, oh, that's amazing, because this has nothing to do with us. I don't feel like I'm important in all this at all. So it was just great to be part of that for that reason.
You know, Ramin, you bring up a good point, and this was something that I came in contact with as I called a bunch of my friends, you included, you know, to be a part of our special. You know, I did get from some people, you know what, Frank, I'm scared to do this because I don't want to make this about me. But, you know, as the observer, as the producer, as the person who's putting this all together, I think what's important during this time, you know, again, speaking as the observer, I think we're just hungry for something to escape. You know what I mean? Like, I want to put on the TV for a little bit and not hear about the coronavirus or COVID-19. I want to hear, you know, you talking about what you do with your wife and with your pups and with your family. I want to hear Kristen Chenoweth singing, because that's going to make me feel good. So thank you for doing, you know, what you're doing. You also did a beautiful rendition of the song you created when you created the role of Phantom in Love Never Dies, called Till I Hear You Sing, with a bunch of musicians. Just talk about how that came to be.
Yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. And I remember recording that, and I was doing the vocals on my own, right? Because we're all remotely doing it. I've never been so nervous. I'm like, I'm on my own. I was super nervous. I was like, oh my God. And Alex Parker put that together. He was a great musician, MD, supervisor over here, young guy who's doing amazing stuff, and I've always wanted to work with him. This is our first time connecting properly, remotely. And he again approached me at a time where I was hesitant to do it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I just, again, love watching the musicians all around, what they all were in their own world, I guess, contributing to this. And I said, as long as, again, we promote the Thank You Flag charity over here. Because like you said, you sit there and you say thank you, and I appreciate that. I've turned a corner where I've realized, okay, well, if we all play our parts, then, again, I'm not important. I'm not saving lives. But I'm an artist. That was my job. So at least I can do that. And if people want to escape for 2 to 5 minutes or whatever, I do. And as well as for me to escape, because at the same time, I'm still going through this too. So I want to be able to shut off the news. I don't want to hear about coronavirus. I just want to know, what do you need us to do differently to help this go on? Until then, what can I, you know, I need to turn off from it too. So it became an outlet for myself as well as sharing. So that turned out to be a lot of fun. It was great to sing it because I love my band and we do that in concert. But to kind of get the semblance of a orchestration again it makes you sing it differently. And I was like, wow, look, I couldn't believe. Because then when I heard it back, I was like, that's what you put together?
It's
wow.
Amazing. You know, I did a big concert yesterday, Carnegie Hall, which, you know, is, you know, the world famous stage here in New York City. They're starting something called Live with Carnegie Hall, where it's a virtual stage for the world, just free programming during this time of crisis. And I hosted the inaugural performance yesterday, which was with Titus Burgess, who you know from TV and Broadway, and Jason Robert Brown and some other folks. And, you know, what's amazing is that we are still figuring out what this world is with performers like yourself. And, you know, we had a 5-hour tech rehearsal on Monday, and Titus said to me, he was like, Frank, I've performed at Carnegie Hall before. I'm more nervous performing virtually than I am on stage. For folks at home who are, again, new to experiencing this kind of music, this kind of entertainment, how does one like yourself record Till I Hear You Sing or Bring Him Home when you have different musicians and artists all over the world? How does that happen?
Well, it depends. Like stuff I've done, like if it's just one or two, maybe three, I'm learning how to edit using like, these video editing software. How old am I to talk like this now? I can't just like say what technology I'm using. I'm like, oh, it's just this thing and these colors come up. So I can edit that. So like Sierra for Once Upon Another Time, she sang it first with a backing track that she had and sent it to me. Then I put it in my Bluetooth earphone and sang it back on a recording myself. So now you have my a cappella version, and then I spliced it together and put it on top of each other, and just thought, well, I felt that was kind of easy. So then but Alex, for Till I Hear You Sing, I don't know how he did that because he had to level everyone out as well. That took some time. So we use an app, a cappella app or something like that, or I get them to all send me their videos one by one. So like me and my band, today we're talking, I was like, let's do Music of the Night, try and get it out before Friday, but do our version. Because I thought that'd be fun. You got like 5 hillbillies trying to figure out, well, how are we going to do it? I said, I don't know, who should start it? Who's going to be in charge of it all? I wasn't trying to push the buck.
Because it takes time. It takes time to put together. Speaking of which, you mentioned Music of the Night. That glorious concert you did for the 25th anniversary at Royal Albert Hall with your dear friend Sierra Boggess is going to get an encore performance this Friday. I'm so excited for that. Tell us about it.
Do you know what? It feels like we're about to do it again. And here's the thing. The whole world's in this lockdown in some way or another. And everyone's looking for an escape, whether for whatever reason. Everyone has their own story during this and to navigate through this crisis. But I feel like, and a lot of people have seen it, a lot of people have the DVDs, they've streamed it. But here's a chance that everyone might actually tune in and watch it together as a big group. Yeah. It's a big group, a global outing for something that, there's no denying Phantom is globally loved.
Yeah.
So many people. So Friday, when this airs, either if you do that or the Matniks, I think it's 24 hours it's available here in England and 48 hours everywhere else. So at some point, there's going to be a big chunk of theater lovers globally all doing something together for the first time since this has never happened.
Yeah.
Even when this aired for the first time when we did it about 10 years ago, you still had to make plans to go to do it. And there was only a certain amount. Here, it's free for everyone.
That's amazing.
In their living room. No one, you shouldn't be going anywhere anyway. So if you want to get a fix of theater, here's a chance where I'm like, this could be as big as when it first happened. How exciting. And to hopefully everyone can escape for 2.5 hours. And it's such a great production. Like I've seen bits of it. And you get to see Phantom in ways you'll never see it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't detract from, for me, live is always best, of course, going to the theater and we'll get back there. But this is a damn close alternative,
It's what, I saw it when it first came out. It's so wonderful. And I was chatting with Andrew last week. He was also a part of our big special. And I said to him, I was like, Andrew, what's the first thing you want to do when your theaters, or when theater in general is up and running? And he said, I can't wait to go see Phantom again. Just go to my show and see Phantom. And I said, I'm with you. I've been making a list of shows, like just feel good shows that, like you said, can make you escape, that aren't dark, that aren't sad. Just and Phantom's on there, that glorious score. And, it's been kept in tip top shape. I've loved, seeing you do this concert. So I'm excited, or this, epic mega presentation way back when. So I'm excited to watch it again. And of course, Sierra and Hadley, just incredible voices. Do you have a favorite moment? I know you did Phantom at Royal Albert Hall, and then of course you did Love Never Dies, but do you have a favorite moment when it comes to tackling that iconic character of the Phantom of the Opera? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
It's odd because I haven't done it in so long, and I didn't do it that long. My whole Phantom career has been living off this 25th anniversary. That's why we're still talking about it. Like, I'm not the Phantom anymore. You know what I mean? I'm so far removed from it. Oddly, it's just why I'd love to revisit it at some point soon, you know? But
how about with Love Never Dies? Because you, of course, created that.
a favorite moment? Like,
Or memory.
Oh, man. Okay, well, the 25th anniversary, I'll always remember the bow before we're about to go out when it was all done. Because you're running on such adrenaline to mount this daunting task. And I remember me and Sierra on the wings. And when it finished, it's the first time I felt like you were like this the whole time. And you just went, and I looked at it and went, what just happened?
Yeah.
What were we just part of? I remember running up those stairs too when we got to tech. And you know, before you do down once more through the dungeon, I remember looking up and said, okay, so when the doubles go up there, where do we go? They're like, there's no doubles. I said, there's not enough music to get up there. We had to sprint. There was no time. And I'm talking, this is not 2 flights of stairs.
It's huge. It's huge. The Royal Albert Hall.
Here's a little, that little out of breath acting. Down once more. It's not acting. I was throwing up a little in my mouth. I'm like, that's got to be a world record. And poor Sierra had to do that in that dress.
Oh my God. Oh my God. How is Sierra? I know you guys are very close. Have you been, and I know you've been interacting with her a little bit. How is she doing?
She's great. I've just started this podcast, so I just interviewed. We hung out on this podcast, and it was great because oddly, before I knew this was even happening, this Phantom, we were reminiscing a lot about it. So she was reminding me. That's why when you asked me what was favorite moment, my brain don't work so well these days. I forget a lot of things. And she was talking about moments. She's like, don't you remember that? I was like, oh yeah. So she was reminding me about that. And every now and then, like on social media, supporters will like say something from watching it recently. And I was like, oh yeah, we did do that. And so I'm reliving these moments again. So I feel like I'm going into it fresh. I feel like I'm doing it on Friday, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No,
She's great. She's keeping herself busy. We're trying to collaborate even more remotely. I'm like, so why don't we do this song? You know, why don't we try this song?
What I know I can't wait for the shows to open both in the West End and on Broadway. Are you itching to get back to Broadway? I mean, I know you're busy with TV stuff, but do you want to come back here and do stuff?
Of course, man. Yeah, I miss the camaraderie of that nightly family that you get, the buzz of live theater. I'm loving shooting on Holby, so it's, you know, embarrassment of riches, creatively speaking.
Yeah.
So sort of one of those things where now I've learned the grass is, you know, you always want something you don't have, then you get it and you want this thing you don't have anymore, and you're going back and forth. But I'm glad and I'm very fortunate and very grateful that I seem to be able to cross that line, you know? So who knows? But I would love to get back to New York. Of course I would. If they'll have me, you know, it's not always my choice.
Oh, come on. I know a lot of people, especially a lot of people watching, would love to see you back on the boards. What's happening with touring? Because I know you do a lot, as you mentioned, with your band. How has that been affected by this whole mess that we're
not so good. We had lots lined up, and thankfully Holby's been really good to write around this. We had a packed schedule, but we just canceled a trip to Japan, which I was supposed to go May 1st. China, we had a trip, my first time ever in China, but we've had to axe that, obviously, because there's no flights anyways.
Yeah.
I don't fancy being quarantined anywhere apart from my home. So as of August, I'm supposed to go to Germany. There's things happening August onwards. But listen, right now, that's why I'm not even promoting anything. I don't feel it's right to promote anything right now anyways, but I'm just waiting to be told, yeah, that's going to happen. Yeah. Otherwise, don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
yeah.
see.
Well, how about we answer some questions from some fans? Is that okay? Can I?
Love to.
All right, here we go. And folks watching, if you want to submit questions below, just hit the question mark and add them to our queue. All right, here we go. This is actually a hello from Japan. Love your live music from your home. May I ask?
We did something with one of their Japanese artists, Yushirota, and we did Worlds Apart from Big River that we just posted. again, this is the beauty of remote, what we've discovered, to be able to connect with him like that. And it's amazing how you get to try and connect when you're not together, but still trying to feel each other's presence. So, hello, Japan. I digress. Sorry.
She asked what's next, and I feel like you answered that. That's a big question mark to what's next, right?
Yeah, I can ask her that too. What's next? I'll let you know when you know.
Beth wants to know, how do you prepare with that beautiful voice of yours? How do you prepare every night in terms of getting to sing the way that you sing?
Oh, well, thank you for that compliment. You know, it varies role to role. Valjean was a big task, but oddly enough, it was working out in the gym that would warm my body up. So once you were doing, and I was fortunate to do 7 a week, I begged to do 6. I couldn't do 8. I was like, no, I can't do it. There's people who are much better that can do it. But 7 a week, and I found I needed to work out. If I didn't work out, I would have been super lethargic, and my body wasn't tuning up for it. So I'd get a workout in, maybe sing a bit with my guitar to kind of check to see where I was at. But once you're in the run of things, by the time you get to show, I always find your voice is warmed up. And the way Valjean started, that you got a bit of a warm up going there, and it has to sound dirty and gravelly. But the worst would be like I think I'm gonna get to the soliloquy, you know. Yeah, so it depends on the part. Gleb was really written in my, so that wasn't such a drama.
Was Valjean the hardest part you've ever had to sing on stage? Was that the most difficult, most challenging role?
It was challenging initially because I didn't even want to do it. I turned it down 3 times because I didn't feel I had anything to say. Because at that point, I wanted Javert.
Wait, pause. Do you remember I was in Toronto for work, and you and we had dinner, and you're like, yeah, should I be coming to Broadway with this? I don't think I should be doing it. I was like, Ramin, what are you talking about? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And you got a friggin' Tony nomination out of that too.
Well, that was crazy, you know. I remember Simon Bailey, my buddy here, told me I had one because I had no idea. And at that point, I didn't realize it was a day thing. I was so tired all the time. And I remember my phone kept ringing. Simon goes, congrats. I said, what? He goes, you've been nominated for a Tony. I said, for what? For Valjean. I was like, is that even eligible? I'm going back to bed. I'm going back to bed. There was a question. Oh, yeah.
Keep going.
Valjean was tough because I hadn't, at that point when Cameron insisted that I do it, and he had so much faith in me, and to this day I'm forever.
Cameron McIntosh.
Mr. Cameron, Sir Cameron McIntosh. And so when I reluctantly said yes, only because I thought, well, if he believes in me, I got to give it a shot. And then when I read the novel, there's certain things that jumped out at me. I was like, oh, wait. And then I got creative with that. I was like, oh, there's something I've got to say with it. So then the voice came.
Yeah.
When I felt, and then say the voice came. But maintaining it, I go through dips and long contracts. You get sick and then you just can't shake it for a while. And then you go on a good 3-4 month where you feel invincible.
Ramin, Ben Tyler Cook wants to know, what's your favorite Disney movie?
I don't know much about Disney. I keep getting mixed. Like, are they Pixar? Or is that 2 different things?
No, like Toy Story's for me Disney.
I love Toy Story.
Yeah.
What about Coco? Who does Coco?
Disney.
Oh, that was tough. Wasn't ready for that. That was a good. That gets you or it up.
Oh yeah, Disney.
I'm a Disney fan then.
Yeah, you are. Someone wants to know, how did you get into theater? How did you discover theater?
Phantom of the Opera. That's how I got into theater. That's what made me go, what is this? This is amazing. And this role, I want to do that. That's literally how it went down. School trip, and Colm Wilkinson with that voice. And at that point, I was into music. I'd liked country. I'd liked rock and roll. Voices like Johnny Cash, Tracy Chapman, Joe Cocker, Kenny Rogers, who just passed away this year. Yeah. They all had this thing. I don't know how to say it, but it's like they got history in their voices. You know they've lived what they're saying or close enough to it. And then when Calm started singing, I was like, what is that voice? It's just literally like a fish hook pulling my soul towards him. And then mixed with that role and Maria Bjornsson's set design. And I remember thinking, that looks cool. And the 12-year-old in me thought, I want to walk through a mirror. That's awesome.
Great music and magic all in one. Sign me up. Sophie from, I'm assuming Sweden, wants to know, would you ever want to play Sweeney Todd?
100%. Yeah. I'm at that, I can't believe I was going to say, I'm at that age now where there's certain things. That's why I wouldn't mind another crack at Phantom, having done loads since that role and just lived a life. You know, my life is different. Sweeney Todd for sure. Guido and Nine.
Yeah.
That'll be done. Bobby.
In Company?
In Company.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Russell wants to know, do you have a specific diet that you stick with?
Funny you should mention that, Russell. I saw some older pictures of me recently. This is what you do in quarantine. I was like, I used to look like this. I sent it to Mandy. I was like, why don't I look like this anymore? She goes, okay, Monday, back on the diet. I do that diet where if it fits in your macros, if it fits in your calories. So I set what protein I want every day, what carbs and what fats. So then it's sort of like Monopoly money, you know what I mean? So if I want to have a Cadbury's cream egg, I can, but it's going to cost me this as my macros.
Do you do that? Do you do that at MyFitnessPal, where you push everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you do?
Yeah. Usually once, especially if you food prep, that's the main thing. If you prep your meals for every like 3 days moving forward, I don't know if you can right now because we're so restricted, but that's another thing. With all these shopping restrictions, I remember walking around when we did our weekly shop, I said, if I take off the shelves what I normally eat, they're going to think I'm stockpiling. So I had to cut back just to not, they're going to think I'm stockpiling, which I'm so against. But I'm like, I would normally eat this, but now I'm going to go half and I'll lose a bit of weight if that takes, but I don't want people giving looks. I don't want to be the problem. So yeah, prep is the main thing, meal prepping. And then I do MyFitnessPal religiously for the first 2 to 3 weeks. But then if you're on a strict diet, you kind of eat the same thing all the time. You get the hang of it. And it depending on your goals, and I'd like to preface this with, you do not need to be a gym rat or a six-pack to be on Broadway or anything like that. But if you want to do that sort of stuff, it's all down to prep. You have to have a plan.
Yeah. I have to say, the one thing that I learned during this quarantine is I've taught myself how to cook. I never cooked before. You know, we have, when, you know, you're working on Broadway, when I'm, you know, covering the scene, which is obviously my day job and my night job, you know, I'm never home. So I'm always eating out. I'm, you know, going to restaurants or, you know, getting stuff, ordering in at work. And I've taught myself how to cook. So that's been, you know, one positive thing to come out of this whole experience. So,
and how much do you love, like, it's good for the soul. I know Mandy, if she can hear me, she's like, you should be cooking more. But when I do
I loved it.
You know,
I loved it.
Put on a podcast or whatever, you know, music.
Absolutely. I was listening to you last night as I was getting ready for this chat while I was cooking. Christopher wants to know, what was it like singing with Barbra Streisand?
And that question will never get boring. And just
wait,
incredible.
how'd you find out that was even happening? Did Richard J. Alexander call you?
Yeah, we're not rushed for time, right? Because
Nope.
You want the whole story?
Yeah, I'm on your time, my friend. So whenever you have to go.
Okay. So I was injured, and we had to postpone a Florida concert with Seth. So then we ended up going to do it when I was able to fly. My neck was good enough to get there and do it. And I didn't know Richard J. I knew of him, but didn't know him. And I didn't know he was coming to the show. I was just doing a show. I'm not one of those who worries who's in, who's not in. Doesn't matter. Audience are all the same. You pay, you're there, you're going to get the best show. And then Richard comes to meet me afterwards. Very complimentary. Didn't think anything of it, you know, just a nice guy. But he's Sierra's friend, so I didn't want to intrude or anything. And then, because I had an early flight home the next day to film back here. And then I get a phone call saying, I was at the boxing gym with Jaden, and Jaden's in the car with me, my son. I took it. He goes, Ramin, it's Richard. I go, hey, Richard, how are you, man? Talking. He goes, Barbara wants to sing with you. I said, Barbara who? Sorry for my language. He goes, Barbra fucking Streisand. I was like, what? Why? And first of all, I don't know any Barbara, let alone I'm not on first name basis with any. And I sure shit ain't on first name basis with Barbra Streisand. You know, it's Miss Streisand as far as I'm concerned. And I said, why? So he showed her some videos of me singing. She was digging it, and she was coming to sing in Hyde Park. And he goes, she's going to FaceTime you. I said, all right. Hang up the phone. I had to explain to my son what all this is about. We're in a boxing gym doing our thing. Then on a Friday, me and Mandy were having a little domestic disagreement. I had a missed call. I'm like, I have a missed call. Nice FaceTime. It was Barbra Streisand. And I'm like, how does one even call Barbra Streisand back? So then they ended up calling back. And I was like, hey. Oh. And then the coolest thing, she's unbelievable. I had to go rehearse with her at her suite at the Savoy Hotel. Her dogs were there, and she was incredibly kind, incredibly accommodating. Just get me to hang out with her buddy, Lionel Richie.
Subtle.
They're all talking about all these, they're talking about their times of temptations, like all these anecdotes. I'm like, I've got nothing to contribute to this conversation.
Come on, you did.
I was like, oh,
you did Family Opera for Andrew.
Okay, but come on, it's the Temptations, you know. And then we start rehearsing, and I couldn't believe how vulnerable she still was, and I equate that to someone who still cares. Like, what more does this woman have to prove or do? Not that she ever has to prove anything. She only shares and create. You can see her mind always creating. And then I loved watching her process from the rehearsal in the hotel to on stage at sound check, how she's aware of everything, how she wants certain things, but done because she wants to put on the best show for the 70,000 people that were coming.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I had to do Till I Hear You Sing, and then we were going to duet Music of the Night. But in between, she had to change. So then she goes to me, Ramin, talk to the audience while I'm changing till I come out. I said, huh? What do you want me to say to 70,000 people? Are you kidding me? What are they going to think? Who's that guy? Where's Barbara? That was the most nerve-wracking. Singing with her was amazing. I was just, what an experience. It was hard to be nervous when I just think, I just want to soak it up. Yeah. I was nervous talking to 70,000 people about, what am I going to talk about?
Who would you say? Who would you end up saying?
I just thought, just talk about Barbara, about this experience, how amazing it is. But then how do you do that when, are they even interested in hearing that? That was my whole thing. Like, I'll just talk honestly. I can talk. Especially, I always be honest with what I'm saying and how I'm feeling. I wear my heart on my sleeve. But is this the time to actually do that? I'm not sure.
Ramin, I know, because a lot of my friends were there that night, that you had a lot of fans in the audience, because you are truly one of West End's best, London's best, and you are one of Broadway's best. You know, you are truly one of the great leading men of our time. Couple more questions couple more questions for you. John keeps posting, do you still enjoy hockey? We've been getting that question a few times.
I do, yeah. I'd love to get back on the ice. Last time I played ice hockey was for a practice session. I was doing Miss Saigon in Belfast, and the Belfast Giants, I believe they were called. They did like a promo thing, you know, Miss Saigon Star with the Belfast Giants, because they wanted to promote the hockey as well, and they were trying to embrace hockey here as well as sell tickets to Miss Saigon. So they gave me equipment. I was on the ice, and this, I don't know if it means anything to you, but Theron Fleury, this unbelievable Canadian hockey player, was playing for Belfast Giants at the time. So I'm sitting there passing pucks with Theron Fleury. Like, this, as a kid, he's one of my heroes. I've got his, like, hockey cards online. I'm like, this is Theron Fleury. What's he doing here? Unbelievable.
Amazing. Do your kids play hockey? Are they big hockey fans too?
No.
No.
It's hard to kind of like get them into it when we can't practice and we can't do it. It's not readily available. And where I grew up, you wanted an ice rink, turn on the hose.
Right.
2 days later, you got an ice.
Right.
You know, that's what we would do. But here, it's soccer.
Yeah. But they're big outdoors guys. Like
Oh yeah,
you like to fish and you do stuff outdoors, right?
all the time.
Yeah,
Jaden's into he's always in my gym now. He's ripped. 15 years old. He's like, I was like,
amazing.
I'm looking at him now, going, I got to up my game. I got
You got to step up. Dad's got to
100.
step up.
And Hadley, my other boy, he's loving his basketball, so we got a net out there. He's like, I don't even know how to tell you. He's not the biggest guy. He's like, can I dunk? Sure you can, son. Yeah. You're LeBron James. Go for it.
So no, do they like the theater? Do they like seeing you on stage? Is there any interest there?
Yeah. Hadley, especially when I was on Broadway, and he was like great friends with Gayton, who was our Gavroche, who's now in Stranger Things. They still message each other every now and then, but he's so proud of him. He's like, oh my God, it's Gayton. Josh. So they used to always hang out in between shows. They'd go to the park together. So he was digging. He's like, maybe I can do that. So then he started. A manager there in New York said, well, tell him to come see me. And I know they were on it, like they were good. So he had to go in and cold read and sing for them. And they loved him. So they signed him up. I was like, so if I ever come back to Broadway, I want to say to him, come with me. I'll find you a show and you audition and let's go together. I don't want to go on my own. So come with me. And Jaden is...
Go ahead. No, you're saying your other son?
Jaden's really producing a lot of great hip hop, which... to my ears, it sounds great, but it's not my world. So like every time he shows me new songs, what do you think of this? I'm like, so good, so good.
That's why, being a supportive parent is so important. How do you balance, when you get a show, like you did Anastasia on Broadway, when you did Les Mis on Broadway, your wife, of course, she works, you have your two kids. Like, how do you balance, picking everything up and coming over to New York? I mean, does she stay there? What's that dynamic like?
Yeah, because it's hard to uproot them when at the time I think, well, if it's just Anastasia, I knew I only wanted to do 9 months. I never know what we're going to do after that. So what if I bring them there, we set up shop, and then I fly somewhere else to get a gig, or now I'm in Holby over here. So I don't really feel right to uproot them every time unless it's something that, okay, we're here for the long run with something, or you feel like it's leading to one thing to another. But also I've got to stop being such a vagabond and taking work worldwide, which I'm so fortunate that the offers are there to go to Japan, Korea, Australia. So at some point I got to go, okay, I'm going to stay put for a certain amount of time and try and balance the career and family, but I don't think that'll ever happen. It's hard. Someone once told me, you want an extraordinary career, the family life will have to compromise. Not suffer, but compromise. I don't think you can have both on par, and Mandy's so good at supporting. Like, I'll never take a job unless she signs off on it. So, like, when Anastasia came, for example, I was like, okay, well, this is what's on the table. You tell me what I pick. And she goes, do that.
She's the boss.
She'll still... Yeah, but then after 2 months down the line, she started, you never hear, like, you told me to take
it. She's the boss for me, and I love that. All right, final question for you, my friend, before I let you go. We got this from one of the questions submitted. What's the first thing you'll do once the quarantine period is over? What's the first thing you're looking forward to doing once this is all over?
I'm not going to lie. I'm looking forward to going back to if Holby's still there for me, if that show's still happening, I was having a blast. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But I'm looking forward to maybe maintaining some of the things that we're doing now. I don't want to lose this, A lot of this easy access to remotely connect to people. Be nice to still do that. It'd be nice to still do things for reasons other than yourself, or self-promotion.
Yeah.
Especially as an artist and like giving. I hope we don't stop giving. I think that this sense of community that we're at first kind of forced to get into, but now, you hear stories like neighborhoods now all know each other. It's like, well, why was it never like that? Right. Some of these old school values that we're forced to have now, wouldn't mind maintaining some of that.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to see you when you're back here in New York, and I'll hopefully be in London soon. So we'll be able to see you there as well. All right, can't wait to see you there as well. My best to your wife, my best to the kids, and to be continued, my friend.
Anytime. I really miss you, man.
I
I
miss
love
you too.
seeing your smile. Thank you for everyone joining, all the questions.
Ramin, I will see you soon. And I'll speak to you soon.
All right, brother.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care.
See ya.
Bye. See, I don't even know how to turn this off. Is it the end?
And yeah.
There it is.